How your son? He made the team this year? He said he wasn't tall enough.
All the glitter
is not gold.
Yeah, we gonna cook
gold
this
is
Sunday,
not
okay?
reality.
Let's come by.
Real is what you live.
Hey, that's your new girlfriend? This is family business, and this is for the family that can't be with us.
We're all just thinking of like good memories we've had with Griffin, and I just remember in the 8th grade when the new My Chem record came out. Me and him after school like rushed to HMV to go get it because he was like one of the only people who shared the same music tastes that I did. And I remember in freshman year interim where we bought the same flip-flops. We bought matching flip-flops, and I still have them today. And it's like so many other memories I could say.
I remember that one Thanksgiving, me, Sam, Devin, like Luke, and a bunch of other friends all went to Glee's house for a Thanksgiving meal. And I remember I never really celebrated Thanksgiving because my parents are not American, so we usually don't do it, but I've always wanted to eat turkey and like stuffing and stuff. So I was really happy when his family graciously invited us in to eat with them and share their meal that was home prepared. And it really made my day because that was like the first real Thanksgiving meal that I've ever had. Yeah.
Memory that was pretty unique to I guess all of us was when we were all together with Griffin. And so we were at the ANC, and this was like our sophomore skip day. And
Junior skip day.
Junior skip day, where we just like skipped the day of school because
it was
a senior skip day.
No, it was the senior presentation, the project presentations.
Yeah.
Basically, we were like sitting down for lunch, I guess, and he ordered vermicelli.
Vermicelli.
And
he would not stop. He
was just like
slurping.
Like.
And then like ever since then we called him Vermiglee. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're always in our hearts, and,
yeah, and we
you better not forget about us.
We can't tell you how much we like miss and love you, and wish you were here to graduate with us and stuff.
I think it's hard for all of us to talk about our relationship with you because it's something that can't be explained, and it's ineffable. Yeah, we'll miss you, Griffin.
Miss you, Griffin.
I didn't know Griffin until last year. I had him in my AMS class, and I just remember he was always half asleep or fully asleep, and somehow he managed to still get A's on his papers and his tests, despite paying little to no attention to Mr. Evans. And so it was really interesting, and I started to get to know him more and more that year, and we became really good friends this year. And yeah, he was just one of the smartest people that I have ever met, and it really sucks that he's gone, and I'm gonna miss him a lot.
The most memorable moment I shared with Griffin was when we got kicked out of the sevens many years ago, for reasons I can't really say in this video. But I remember we hid out in the hospital for like an hour before we went back outside to beg people for their wristbands. And once we were back in, we were also hiding from the cops, and I thought that was probably the most fun I've ever had at the sevens. And I'm also honored that I was able to spend Griffin's last night with him in Hong Kong. We were sitting 21 stories up above the city, overlooking the skyline that he loved, and I miss you, Griffin.
I don't really know what to say. It's hard to say anything serious now because me and Griffin were never really serious with each other. One thing I remember was that every day after school when I went home on the bus, me and Griffin were on different buses, so we would always pass by each other while going down on the middle school hill. And I would always wave at him, and he always hated it because he thought I was acting too flamboyantly or something. But now that he's gone, I think that's going to be one of the hardest things for me. I'm going to really miss that. I'm going to miss Thanksgiving dinners with him. I'm gonna miss going on field trips with him. Yeah, so he was a bro, and rest in peace, Gruff.
Well, I never really got close to Griffin until junior year. But we did make a lot of special memories in the short time that we were close to each other, and I'm going to cherish all of those memories. Griffin, I miss you a lot. I miss working out with you every period 3. I miss messing around with you every English class. And it's nothing more that I want than for you to come back. Thanks for being a great friend, and rest in peace.
Hey Griffin, last week when I first heard about the accident, one of the first things I thought of was something you told me earlier this year when one of our friends in our homeroom had his mom pass away. And it was a sad time for all of us, and you told me that you thought that the hardest thing for someone to ever go through would be to lose a close family member. And now I think I actually understand what you meant by that, because all of us at HKS have in a sense lost a family member with you and your family's passing. And I find some comfort in knowing that you'll never have to go through that kind of pain. Yeah, I mean, it's just little things like these that you would say to me that I would really never pay much thought to. I would never take a step back and think about how good of a friend you were. I only really enjoy the moment. And I think that's because all of us here are young, we feel invincible, we feel like we'll never die, and I think this event has really caused us to realize that life is really fragile and nothing in life is promised except death. So I think you've made all of us appreciate our friends and family a lot more. So thank you for that.
Just Griffin, if you're listening, I just want to say thanks for being one of the first people at HKS who reached out to me and being one of my first friends. And I'm never going to forget, from freshman to junior year after year, running all those miles in PE with you. And I'd always remember how before each mile we'd be so nervous because we knew we were just going to get destroyed. And when we actually ran it, like being side by side with you, hearing you pant, hearing me pant, and we'd just be laughing along the way because we knew we just sucked at running so much. And I remember how every summer, just before coming back to school, I would check my Dragonet and check my classes, and year after year I would see that you were in my PE class, and I'd be so happy because I knew I'd just have another year of a lot of fun and good times. And I'm really going to miss seeing you around school because every time I saw you I knew there'd always be like a joke or something coming at me that would make me laugh or make me smile or just make me happy. So yeah, I miss you, Griffin.
I met Griffin back in R2 when I first came to HKS, and he was on my bus when I lived back in Parkview, and I was really glad that he was the first friend I made here. And even though I've been friends with him for so long, I feel like I really got to know him this year in grade 12 because we had period 3 together and we always work out. And I feel like I'm just really gonna miss all the times where we would share songs together about like EDM. We always talk about like college and I would always talk about how stressed I was, but he always seemed laid back. And I'm just gonna really miss seeing him around here.
So Griffin and I were really close these past couple of years of high school, like 10, 11, and 12th grade. But when we first met in 7th grade when I moved here to Hong Kong, we didn't get off on the best foot. We were both pretty annoying. We got into a lot of arguments, we annoyed each other a lot, we got into a lot of fights, and that was like the beginning of our relationship was that. It was pretty rocky. But then as we entered high school, it got to the point where we realized we were more similar than we were different in terms of like expectations by parents, teachers, friends, relatives, stuff like that, how we like approached solving problems, how we thought about ourselves. I think especially now in retrospect, I really appreciate just finding someone who understood me, and it meant a lot to me at least, just like someone who gets where I'm coming from, how I think about things, and I really appreciated that in a friendship, and I just really miss him.
I moved to Hong Kong in 4th grade, and I didn't really know anyone, and basically my class was split between 3rd grade and 4th grade, and there were a bunch of kids that I kind of knew and like a few that like I kind of didn't know, and then there was Griffin, and he was kind of like my one and only friend at the time, and we kind of met because we live only 5 minutes away from each other. Basically, we'd, after school every day, just like meet up, go outside, and just like kind of mess around. And it was like that for like probably 3 or 4 years until middle school. And Griffin and I always kind of kept in touch since we lived so close to each other. Even up until last time I met him, we had been talking, but recently we had grown more distant. And I kind of regret that. But at least I know that growing up, he meant a lot to me, and I'm pretty sure I meant a lot to him. And I just want to say to Griffin, if you can hear me, I miss you a lot, and you meant a lot to me in my life, and I'm really glad that I got to be a part of yours.
Griffin's always been someone who I think I could get along with, or I got along with really well. He'd always find ways to kind of be funny, and even though he wasn't trying to. And he'd just be there for everyone, whether it was just sitting around listening or helping them with their homework. I remember asking Griffin to help me with my physics homework, and he pretty much just did it for me in 15 minutes. And then I asked how he did it so fast, and he's like, oh, I did it in the computer calculator in the top right corner, even though you're supposed to use a graphing calculator. And that's something we can all agree on, how Griffin was gifted intellectually. So Griffin, if you're listening, know that we miss you a lot. And even though we all may not have shown it all the time, you're a great friend, and we were lucky to be your friend.
To add on to what I said before, I wanted to share another memory I had with Griffin, and it was actually my last words to him. We were actually discussing Drake's newest mixtape that he just released, which was the last day of school before break. And the mixtape was called If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. And recently, since he passed away, I was just having these nostalgic memories and going through some of your Facebook chats. And I noticed that sometimes you said something and I wouldn't respond. And it's something that I regret. And just like my last words to him about the newest album, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, it is too late to do anything about it. And yeah, I'm just sorry, Griffin. We miss you a lot.
So again, with Arjun, we've both known Griffin a long time, and I've definitely had so many great memories with him, so it's hard to pinpoint on one exactly to talk about. But I remember I invited him to my birthday party in the 7th grade, and it was really fun. And in these middle school birthday parties, the gifts you receive tend to be kind of the same, very conventional ones like, gift cards or video games and things like that. And I remember that he gave me a quilt that his mom had sewn. And at the time I was like, what is this? Like, you gave me a quilt. Like, I thought it was kind of funny, and we both kind of joked about it. But it's funny because in the years following, I kind of realized how valuable of a gift that was, especially in comparison to the other gifts I received. And I think it was just so innovative, kind of showed how funny and kind of a goofy person he was, but also how caring and intelligent and compassionate he was as well. And I think it's probably going to be one of the best gifts I've ever received, and one of the ones I'll remember for the longest time.
Yeah, so Griffin and I go way back. He was one of the first people I met at HKS, because me and True were both in his house in Taitam house, and then, yeah, he was just like this little dude. He was really smart, obnoxious, really funny though. Like, he'd always sing with Matthew, and the teacher would tell him to shut up. And then our friendship started in 7th grade, me and True had dinner with his family. Like all our families got together and it was a great time. 8th grade, we had this tight-knit group of friends called the Cutie Corp. Like it's pretty funny, but like we're all like good friends now. And in 9th grade, we got banned from the library with entry book burner. And sophomore year, we partook in a lot of extracurricular activities that I can't say here, but it was a big part of our friendship. And there's so many memories that always puts a smile on my face whenever I think of Griffin. That's why I couldn't really cry for that long, because whenever I think of him, I'd always see his smiling face. And so he's always going to be there with me.
Julia was one of the biggest sweethearts I've ever met in my life. She had this amazing optimism about her and this positivity that was really special. And she always had this amazing, infectious smile on her face that always brightened up the mood. And I think that she was always just one of those people that you love being around, no matter what the circumstances, school, outside, hiking, birthday parties, whatever it was. She just added so much light, and she's gonna be missed a lot.
My name is Michelle, I'm in the HKI's class of 2011. Seems like such a long time ago when I met Julia in her orientation week at Tufts, and she was so clueless and asking me for directions and advice for college. These couple years in HKSA, I've watched her go through ups and downs. I watched her learn from her mistakes and grow into such a wonderful and lighthearted person. Julia, it breaks my heart to know that I won't be able to see you smile or hear you laugh again. But just the thought of you will always make me smile. Words cannot describe how much I love and miss you. I will always hold on to the memories I've had with you and your families, and I hope you will rest in peace together.